Hello everybody, and welcome back to my Let's Play Modded Minecraft Survivor series. This is Dino, and in the previous episode, we had worked on our helpful villagers, configuring miners and farmers to get them working for us. And then we had a little bit of time left, so we started on a little mini adventure in search of a desert biome. So that's where we left off, and now we're going to pick up where we left off. So this is going to be a little bit of a different episode, and let me go ahead and explain why. So I'm pretty new to video recording and YouTube videos, and so I'm experimenting, trying to find, optimal configuration of things, and finding the right program and utilities for doing these videos. So I am experimenting a little bit, trying different applications and such. And for some reason, in the process of doing some experimentation, the microphone audio got completely messed up in this episode. I think this is episode 11. And I tried to undelete the original file. I run a Windows operating system, and but unfortunately, it couldn't find the file. So I'm screwed. But anyway, so it was a pretty interesting episode in that we did an awful lot of exploring and saw a lot of new portions of our world and stuff like that. And I thought you might find that quite interesting. I think the world generation part of Minecraft is one of the most interesting pieces of the game. So rather than cry in despair, I decided to go ahead and redo this episode as an audio commentary. So this is very different. It's probably going to be me derping all over the place, cutting in and out of topics and such, and I apologize for that, but I'll try to do my very best to keep this as interesting as possible. So I do remember most of the topics that I discussed while we were adventuring, and I'll try to cover those again, although obviously they'll be in a different sequence. But if something interesting is happening on the screen, I'll probably break away and provide commentary on what's going on. So that way you understand what's going on in the actual video, and I can still kind of cover some of the things that I had been talking about. So what we're doing right now is exactly where we left off. We're still on the hunt for a desert biome. I'm trying to find a desert biome so that we can get some cactus, maybe start doing cactus farm, because we'll need cactus for liquid pipes and stuff like that we'll need for crafting in the near future. That is a really, really deep hole. Yeah, pretty cool. So anyway, yeah. Also, it's really helpful to kind of have an idea of where a desert biome is, so that when you need Enderman hunting, that's a great biome for finding Enderman. And I just found this really awesome cave. I'm not sure what's going on with the texture pack. It's wigging out a little bit. Some of the blocks are coming up black, and I don't quite understand why. I probably need to reboot my computer. It's been a little while, so we're probably just getting some glitching in the video driver. But love ravines, obviously. So glad to have found this one. I was just kind of trying to see if there was an abandoned mine shaft or anything interesting like that down there, and I don't see one. But let's go ahead and set a waypoint so we can find this ravine in the future. So that's what we're doing here. But anyway, one of the things that I was talking about in the video was kind of going over some of the things related to helpful villagers. I've been fortunate enough to have kind of an email conversation with Weasel Ninja, the author of that mod, and wanted to kind of ask him some questions about the mod, in particular how the AI worked, because as we saw in the last episode, the miner kind of wandered off across the water to the this little sand island over the water, and just stopped and stood there for pretty much the entire day, while the farmer actually did do farming. So kind of wanted to understand if that was the normal AI behavior, or if that was something he was working on, that sort of thing. And he pretty much responded right away, so really awesome. Neat guy. So Yeah, and what he had indicated was that, yeah, that's kind of the AI behavior. It's very much based on the vanilla Minecraft AI logic. And yeah, this is a really cool biome. So decided to go down to the bottom there and see if there was anything on the other side of those mountains across the water there. So yeah, he is working on the AI, but a lot of the AI logic is based on vanilla Minecraft AI logic. So um, he did give me a tip though, and kind of indicated that to kind of speed the miner logic process up, sometimes it can be really helpful to kind of prep them a little bit. So one of the things that they like to have in inventory is cobblestone and sand. I was just picking up some lily pads there because those are really helpful to have around your base. So if you have to have, if you're setting down water for farming and stuff like that, you can actually put the little lily pads on the water, and that way you don't step in the water. So those are kind of nice to have. So that's why I was collecting some of those. So yeah, so miners like to have cobblestone and sand readily available so that they can, as they're digging down in a spiral fashion. That's right. This is pretty awesome. So we found what's I think it's basically a meteor, which I've seen before. I don't remember exactly what mod it's related to, but I have seen other Let's Play YouTubers find these in their Let's Play series, and it's pretty rare find and pretty cool. What I'm doing right now is I'm actually trying to find my bed, and as you can see, it's not in the inventory. I totally derped out in the last episode and forgot to pick up my bed. So here it is, nighttime. Monsters are going to start spawning. I'm out in the middle of nowhere, and I have no bed. So, so thankfully there are sheep nearby, and I'm going to go kill a few sheep and craft a new bed. So yeah, what they like to have is cobblestone and sand because as they're spiraling down, finding ores, they sometimes will need to set down those blocks in order to be able to navigate safely. And according to Weasel Ninja, if you kind of prep him and actually give him some of those materials when he first starts off, it'll actually, I guess, improve the logic so that they can find a better location to start digging at. And apparently, so basically, the way the logic works is the miners will actually go to the perimeter of the village. They will not actually start digging holes in your village, which I think is pretty smart, pretty awesome. I don't think anybody likes wandering around the village, trying to trade with villagers and do all those, do your farming and stuff in that environment when there are holes all over the place. So that's pretty cool. So the miners will actually go outside the perimeter of the village looking for a really good spot to start mining, and that's the logic. So they're trying to find a good spot to start mining, and if they don't find a good spot, then they just kind of get confused and they may stand there for a period of time. Then what will happen is at the end of the day, both the miner and the farmer will both come back to their guild house at the end of the day and drop off the materials they've collected for that day. So that sort of serves as a bit of a reset in that, even if the miner can't find a good location to start digging, he will start over, and apply new logic the next day and start over and hopefully find a better location and start mining, the next day or maybe the day after. It might take a couple of days, I guess. And I just got surprised by a creeper, but I didn't take any damage. That's pretty amazing. That doesn't happen too often, but yeah, sometimes I get lucky. So that was really helpful feedback from the mod author, and he did also indicate though that he was working on improving the AI a little bit, and then he also indicated that he had released a minor update fairly recently. So he was kind enough to provide me a link to that, and I downloaded it, and I will install it in the next episode. And what that update does, for those of you that may have looked at Helpful Villagers, there is kind of a bug with the breeding of the villagers. As you know, how many villagers you actually have in a village is sort of dependent upon the number of doors that are in the village. So if you actually create a few new buildings and add some more doors, you can actually get new villagers breeding. There's logic for that. But with the helpful villagers, there's a bug in that logic, and they pretty much breed like rabbits, just like crazy. And so I kind of expressed my concern to the mod author that with that many blocks in one chunk, it could pose performance issues for playing the game, and he was aware of it, and he indicated that he was going to fix that. He had every intentions of fixing that in his next major update, which I guess in this case would be, I don't know if it's 1.2 or 2.0. I think it might be 1.2. But he also said that since this seems to be posing a fairly big problem for some of the people that are wanting to play with his mod, he would try to do a minor release sooner rather than later. And so yeah, so he released 1.1.8, and I was able to get a copy of that and have it installed. So we'll see that those improvements in the next episode, or soon anyway. So what I'm doing here is, this is Skystone. Oh yeah, so it's a part of the Applied Energistics 2 mod, and there's supposed to be some pretty cool stuff in the center of the Skystone. And so I started digging in, since we now have a diamond pickaxe, and it requires a diamond pickaxe to actually break these blocks. And it's a really cool texture. I just love this texture. So I wanted to get some of those blocks while we can. And then I realized maybe I shouldn't be doing this, because I don't necessarily know what we're going to find in there. And if it does, if it requires a special tool or something to mine it out, I might either blow myself up to Kingdom Come or do something else bad. So I decided to stop there. I'm setting a waypoint, and we'll come back and check this out after I've done a little bit more research on the Skyblock and find out what's inside of it and what its main purpose is and all that kind of cool stuff. I know it's pretty cool. I remember, like I said, other Let's Play series, those YouTubers were pretty excited when they did find one. So I'm excited to find one too. Just know that it's pretty rare to find, and I've found one. So anyway, we're going to continue on. We're still looking for a desert biome, and then we come across this black goo, and I always am wondering whether or not it's oil or not, because apparently there are some liquids that are sort of a brown color, some of them that are a bluish color, and this is blue actually in the bucket, and it's sludge, as you'd expect, which is really, really disappointing, because the black liquid I was hoping would be oil. Always on the lookout for oil. Oil can be a fairly useful fuel source should you need it. And in some of my world generations, Minecraft world generations, I'm fortunate and there's a lot of oil, and in others, I think the most recent single player game that I've been playing, there was hardly none. So yeah, it can vary quite a bit. So I'm not really sure what's happening here, but I know that when I was originally recording, the phone rang while I was recording, and I suspect this is probably the spot where the phone rang. So I'll probably want to cut this part out for you guys so you don't have to sit here staring at the same scene for, I don't know, I guess it's about a minute. Well, actually, that wasn't too bad. So anyway, maybe I won't cut it out. That wasn't too long. So, yep, creeper. I always like to attack those when I can. And then I can never quite remember what the heads are useful for. I suspect they're probably just trophies. I don't quite remember. But even so, if I don't have one, probably be good to pick up one at least. So yeah, so that's the helpful villagers. So now that the breeding bug has been fixed, hopefully that will be great, because now we can basically use that mod as intended. And as I indicated in last episode, it's kind of a really great way to kind of have built-in slave labor, for lack of a better term, in place of your quarry, your mechanical slave labor. So yeah, so I'll probably want to get a couple more miners going, maybe even a second farmer, and that way we'll be covered for materials, at least in the early portion of this game, where I won't have to run around hunting for materials on my own all the time. I don't mind doing that. That's part of the game, and it's actually can be quite fun. But when you're really kind of engaged in something else more meaningful or useful, it's kind of a bummer sometimes to have to pause. Voila! I'm so excited. So we just found some rubber trees, which are really, really awesome. I actually had not intended to go on the hunt for rubber trees, but rubber is really, really useful in the game, obviously, as well. And so we're going to need some of this. So this is awesome. I don't have a tap, so I can't really just grab the sticky resin right now. But I wasn't actually aware that it would actually drop as you're cutting down the tree. So what's happening here, you'll notice I'm trying to chop down a tree with a bucket of water. What I had done is I had installed an additional mod called Auto Switch by the Bombazine, and I hope I'm pronouncing it right. Anyway, I think it's the Bombazine. But anyway, so he's got a mod called Auto Switch. It's really, really a useful mod, and as you can see, I just disabled it because it's misconfigured. It's wigging out. What it's supposed to do is it will auto switch between the appropriate tool on your toolbar for the specific block that you're attacking. So if you're attacking a tree, the most appropriate tool would be an axe, and if you have an axe on your toolbar, it'll then switch to your axe automatically and chop down the tree. If you're attacking sand, it will do that with sand. Oh, maybe this is where the phone rang. No, maybe not. Okay, I don't know what I'm pausing for. I guess I'm trying to look for something to throw out of my inventory so that I can pick up some of this more useful stuff like that sticky resin. Who knows? Anyway, it's funny how you can't remember your own details. But that's what I'm looking for right there. I'm looking for saplings because I want several rubber tree saplings so that we can start our own farm back at home base. And I always like to have at least 2 because you might get unlucky and you may not get a sapling from the first tree, but usually if you have 2 trees, you'll be lucky enough to at least get another sapling, and that way your farm can sustain itself. So I always try to get at least 2. Anyway, so auto switch basically will choose the appropriate tool. So if you're rushing at a creature and you're going to go to attack it, auto switch will switch to your sword. But it was wigging out there. It was, instead of using the axe like it was supposed to, it was using, I don't know why, but it was using a bucket of water. I'm marking another oil geyser that we see off in the distance there, because again, can't have enough oil. And so I'm really glad to see there's a reasonable amount of oil in this particular game. That's great. So yeah, so I'll have to go and fix that configuration. I've not done that yet, but I will definitely do so before the next episode, so you can actually see it working properly. That's a very useful mod. It's just, there's another bad block. I don't know, the texture is just not rendering for some reason. So, I kind of feel one of the tedious parts of the game is just switching between tools all the time. I know it's part of the game, but I think everybody knows what tool they're supposed to use and that they should switch through tools. So I don't think it's a big deal to use auto switch. I think it's kind of a time saver. So I guess if you don't agree with me, let me know. I don't want to do anything that might be considered a cheat. There's another Aura node for Thaumcraft. I always have to stop and do a double take because I see those and it's like, huh, what's that? So again, I'm not overly familiar with Thaumcraft, so I still have a lot to learn about that mod. But I am trying to make mental note of things that I know that are Thaumcraft related, so that when I do get to it, I'll kind of be somewhat a little more prepared. So just waiting for night to get here so I can sleep. Got my trusty bed this time. I didn't forget it. And reminder, we're trying to find a desert biome, getting completely sidetracked along the way, but in a good way. We're finding really useful stuff. The rubber trees are awesome. Finding more oil is awesome. you know, little things like the lily pads there, that's pretty good. It's nice to have some of those. And then, even additional awesomeness, we find a jungle biome. So, voila! Now we can get things that are relevant to the jungle biome, like cocoa beans. So there's our cocoa beans right there, and we can grab some cocoa beans, and even better, some jungle trees, which of course you need to grow more cocoa beans anyways. So just throwing away some more garbage. I really need to craft a backpack or something with some additional storage that'll allow me to carry more when we go exploring. Ideally, it'd be really nice if I could get an ender bag or ender chest or something with the ender capability, so that I can just drop stuff in there and automatically suck them out back at the base. That way we'll just have infinite storage and not lose anything that's of interest. So just like with the rubber trees, I'm trying to get a couple saplings from these jungle trees, and not having a whole lot of luck. So don't really need the wood necessarily, but definitely need the saplings in order to grow some jungle trees back at home base should we need to. And so yeah, we'll just keep collecting what we can. In a way, it's very convenient because you know, we're getting all these raw materials kind of out in the wild, and now we won't necessarily have to go traveling great distances in order to get the materials that we need. So that's kind of a good thing and a bad thing. I really like the adventuring part of the game, but I love the crafting part of it too, and the building things part of it. So when we actually get to building more structures, which I've got a lot of ideas for things that we're going to want to build in support of our home base, and you know, making ourselves self-sufficient and self-sustaining. So we're probably going to need a lot of different types of materials. Jungle wood might be part of that. I don't quite know yet. I know what I'd like to work on, and I won't share those with you now. I'll save those as a bit of a surprise for later. But what we make those structures out of, and there's so many choices in Minecraft. It's just amazing. I've seen a lot of people do some really cool stuff, and it's been very inspiring. But so I might actually want to steal some of their ideas. Woohoo! Look, I found even more cool stuff. Pumpkins. And that's kind of a rare find. Not ultra rare, but again, it depends upon the world generation. I've had some games where I come across them quite easily, and other games where, oh my god, I'll just run around looking for them, and it takes freaking forever to find them. So this is exciting. Very glad to have found those. But so yeah, so you know, so I'll probably want to steal some of those really cool ideas. Oh, I almost fell in a hole. But I also want to kind of do my own thing too. I'm not an ultra creative person. I get ideas and I try new things, and I love to experiment, so that doesn't bother me at all. And of course, one of the beauties of doing a Let's Play series like this is that I can get your feedback on what you like with these ideas and what I'm doing, and maybe provide your own input into what I could be doing, or provide new ideas or better ideas than what I'm exploring. So love that interactivity part of that of these Let's Plays, and I'm really looking forward to getting your feedback on some of our future builds. I was just kind of circling back there a little bit because I saw those sparkles after killing them, and I think that's their soul essence, which feeds again back into the Soulcraft mod, I think. Again, I'm not completely sure. I still need to research that mod, but just kind of, you know, making mental notes of things that I'm noticing and experiencing as I'm playing, so that as I learn more about these mods, I can kind of hopefully recall these details, and it'll help me out in the future. If you actually know what those are, please let me know in the comment section below. That'll just speed up my learning process, and in my opinion, that's a good thing, because the faster I can learn, the faster I can apply to the series. So this is a pretty awesome view from here. I mean, I always just it's just so amazing what Minecraft can build and detail out in its world generation. It's just inspiring and cool just to see sometimes. So I saw that fire over there and wanted to come over here and investigate a little bit further, and realized that that's definitely not the direction I want to go in. Me and fire, we don't get along real well. I usually wind up falling in it and dying or something. So we'll just go a different direction for now. Yeah, looking around some more, and then I saw that floating island. Again, I don't remember what mod that's part of, but I've seen it before, and kind of made a mental note to myself that definitely would like to go up there and explore those things here fairly soon, but I would prefer to wait till I have the ability to fly, either through a jetpack or the morph mod or some other way. But I definitely don't relish the idea of trying to use dirt or cobblestone or something to climb that high. Knowing me, I'd probably fall. So why tempt fate when you know that that's probably not a smart thing to do? So I'll wait till I can fly. And still looking for a desert biome and just not having a lot of luck. But off in the distance, I see this monster tree, which I really get excited over. In one of my Let's Play series there's another floating island there too. In one of my single player series, I found a large tree like this, and when I originally recorded this video, I was thinking it was a sequoia tree. That's not actually accurate. It's actually a redwood tree. So as I come over here, I'll confirm that for myself. But yeah, that's a redwood tree. But in my single player world, it's pretty awesome. I spawned right next to one of these, and I decided right away that's just too cool. I need to make my home base here. So what I actually did was I dug to the inside of the redwood tree and dug all the way up in the center, and then near the top area underneath the tree leaves, and yeah, right there, that's where I built my tree house. And so I built a tree house up there and made that my home base, and that was just so awesome. And from that vantage, you get to see so much. You get a really great vantage point across everything around you, and when it's next to other biomes like this one is across the water there and such, it's just such a cool view. See there, it's redwood barks. That's a redwood tree. Kind of had to confirm that for myself, but anyway, yeah. So that was pretty cool. And then it was kind of in a narrow or a flat area, a flat biome, so that it was really easy to do more building around it. And I started building out kind of a city configuration around my home base. And right next to this particular biome was a village. So I was in a really sweet location. That was pretty awesome. And when I did the original recording of this, I also started talking about the idea that it might actually be a lot of fun to maybe do a showcase video of some of my single player worlds. Now here we have an apple tree, or at least apple leaves, and as I started punching the leaves, it actually dropped a sapling. So that was really exciting. So I wanted to collect some more of these apple saplings, maybe plant our own apple trees around our home base. So that was pretty neat. But anyway, yeah, so I was thinking it might actually be kind of fun to do a showcase of my single player worlds and kind of talk about some of the home bases I've developed and some of the buildings I've done. I might actually replicate some of those buildings in this Let's Play series, which I think might be kind of fun. But it'll be different, because this world generation is different and our home base is different. The biome it's in is different. So there'll be a lot of differences. So I think a showcase of the other worlds would be kind of fun. So yeah, I'm going to give that some thought. I think it might not be a bad idea. I think it'll be entertaining to kind of talk through some of the things I've done before and the logic I applied and the noobness I was experiencing, which I'm still a huge noob at this game. Um, I love it. I love the learning process. There's so many things you can do in this game, especially when you're playing the modded versions. That it's just so cool. Um, so those I was double checking because those are berry bushes, and I think it's kind of helpful to have some of those around as well because it's a really great and free food source when you need it. It's not very nourishing, but it's better than nothing. But I couldn't remember if those were actually farmable. If I could punch one of those and pick it up and take it with me and replant it. I don't recall. So I was just kind of commenting on that. I'll have to check into that a little bit. And there's another redwood tree. So there's actually two redwood trees right near each other. I've only seen that one other time, and they were actually a lot closer than these two even were. I mean, you know, I was thinking it might even be a cool idea to build kind of a connecting platform or a bridge, suspended bridge or something between the two redwood trees. Anyway, these are next to each other, but not that close. Surprise, surprise. Yep, there's a hole down there, so there's got to be mobs. But yeah, this is a really great location too because again, it's relatively flat. There's a redwood tree that I could do clever stuff with, and there's horses right there. I was just really impressed with this location. So I don't remember if I set a waypoint or not, but if not, I should have. And of course, there's holes and resources around here too, so probably a good place to note. Yep, so there I go. I'm setting a waypoint for this. So yeah, let me know what you think of the showcase idea of my single player worlds. I'm happy to do that if it sounds interesting to you. You know, kind of let me know. I'll definitely give it some thought. I've kept those worlds. I haven't played in them for a long time, so hopefully they're still good. I'll have to pull them off of backups, and but I'll do that so that I at least know whether or not it's even a possibility or not. And then based on your feedback, if there's interest, I'll be happy to do that. Um, I might even do it anyways, just because sometimes it's a lot of fun to reminisce. I wasn't sure what this biome was. I'd never seen this before, but it's a dead forest, so wanted to kind of check that out. So yeah, so I think it's fun to kind of go back and look at things sometimes after a while and just kind of reminisce about the adventures and experiences and what you learned and you know validate your noobness, all those kinds of things. Looks like there's another redwood over there. Oh my God, I've never seen so many redwoods in one location. They're supposed to be somewhat rare, but apparently in this world gen, they're not quite as rare as I've seen before. So yeah, pretty awesome. But we've gone pretty far. Spent a lot of time getting a lot of resources, doing a lot of new things, and still haven't found a desert biome. So I decided that this would probably be a good place to cut the episode and pick up where we left off next time. So thanks for joining me.